Serenity, you rescued me from the storms I used to chase. I found your voice in quiet waves. In stillness I found grace. No more chains and no more plea. I am who I'm meant to be. At last I breathe serenity.
Hello, everyone! Happy Friday! Alpha, you looking a little blue, buddy. What's up over there, man?
My network's been a bit funny tonight.
By the way, it's not my fault we're late. I blame it entirely on that guy. And now he's still broken. So, yeah. We'll let you figure it out there, Alpha. But I want to say, hey to everybody, happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. The great part of it, it's over. That's right. Best part of the week is it's Friday. So I want to say hi to Alpha. Hey, look, Alpha was in the chat too. Hi, Alpha. Wild Angel, Friday. I agree. And Hope Giver, hi, Mom. Good to have you guys here. So as you know, every Freaky Friday, we jump into crypto markets a little bit. Then we can drive down the rabbit hole of some of the latest news, information. We have some heated debates. Now, tonight's topic, we're probably going to ruffle a few feathers, but there's some interesting tech coming out. So we got to talk about that. So it's the AI versus white collar war that's going on. Because make no mistake, there is a war in progress right now. So the question is, are we just being paranoid, or was this preordained? I mean, you look at how technology is growing, kind of hard to say, but we're going to get into that a little later tonight. Right now, of course, we want to get in the crypto news. And Alpha's running away. Okay, I see how this is going to go tonight. So right off the bat, of course, the the speech from Powell had a huge impact on the markets today. Now, of course, they were just hints at what could happen with the interest rate, and they were hinting at a cut. But a lot of people sunk their teeth into that, and that made all the markets across the board go through the roof. So it's been a great day in the crypto world. In fact, we almost, some people would say we did, others would say we didn't, broke a new all-time high for Ethereum. Now, if you look at CoinMarketCap, it says we didn't quite make it. Talking Nexus just a little bit ago says, yeah, we just kind of touched it and pulled back a little bit. So, yeah, either way, we're holding right there. It didn't come crashing back down, and so the market's looking good. And that's pretty much across the board. Almost everywhere you go, you're seeing green numbers for the day. So all you crypto investors, even stocks and bonds, had a huge increase today thanks to Powell. So thank you, Powell. Let's hope it comes to fruition. What do you think, Alpha? He's even here.
I am here. I think I would agree with Nexus that it looks like we could be seeing a lot of change because, you know, when things in the TradFi world are bullish and everyone's like, okay, yeah, crypto's bullish now. It's kind of just how it works. TradFi tends to sink over into crypto like that.
Well, it does, and especially now the way the legislation, all this has changed. I mean, crypto's getting more mainstream. A lot more of your investment things are in your TradFi are coming into the crypto space. They're kind of merging into one. So eventually it's going to be all the same. Stocks go up, crypto goes up, and it's kind of moving that way anyway. So either way, it's great to see some green candles today. So last time we saw
we had I think we had like 3 days of red candles, so it's definitely good to get some green candles again.
It was an ugly week. I've just watched everything go beep, 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 and then today just this huge spike. So let's hope it holds, but be prepared for a pullback because we never know. Like I said, Powell just hinted at a interest rate cut. It didn't guarantee it. It didn't get announced, just hinted. So got to be careful for that. Now, of course, there has been some other developments, and just to prove, we already talked about that. Just to prove that literally crypto is moving to mainstream, we just had, where is it? Wyoming just launched its first stablecoin. That's right. First state in the United States to launch a state-backed cryptocurrency. So, the front token was just launched in Wyoming. Now, as we know here in the States, Wyoming has always been on the cutting edge of adopting cryptocurrency. So, this is pretty cool all the way around. What do you guys think about states creating their own stablecoins? Do you think it's every state's going to do one? Do you think it's just stupid? Or do you think it's great adoption and use cases? Let me know in the comments. I'd really like to know your thoughts about what you feel about Wyoming making its first stablecoin. Is that just getting too much? What do you think, Alpha? Dude, you got to get some caffeine or something, man. You're like... Ugh.
I'm thinking about it. It sets a precedent, actually. It sets a very interesting precedent because if Wyoming does their own stablecoin, their own state-backed stablecoin, that means it's not going to be long before another state does the same thing at all, too. So we might see like multiple new stablecoins popping up like in the next few, it's not even say months, in the next few weeks, actually, because it's like everyone else is going to try to want to catch up. They don't want to be left behind in the dust. So yeah, I can definitely see it happening. And funny enough, it kind of ties in because just early today, I saw a post from MetaMask where they announced their own stablecoin also. So it's, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more stablecoins in the next few weeks.
So now if everybody has a stablecoin, then what's the point? I mean, how's that going to work? Are we oversaturating the markets with stablecoins?
That's the funny thing, eh? That's the funny thing. Technically, it can't be oversaturated with stablecoins as they all have their same intrinsic value, back to the dollar. But it does make things a lot more complicated because right now, for the most part, we use two stablecoins, USDT and USDC. Sometimes we'll hear of some others. I think it's like AUSD, AUSD, and we'll see like the Euro one, the whatever that one is called now again, I can't remember. So we'll see things like that randomly, but for the most part, people use two, USDT and USDC. Right. Now, I don't think that the dominance of those two is going to lose at all. I think we're still going to have those two as the most dominant, but having multiple new ones kind of makes things a little more complicated because now it's like, okay, someone's going to be like, oh, I'm going to transfer you some funds, and then you're going to be like, okay, but which stablecoin are you sending?
Right. Exactly.
You kind of see that being a bit of a pain point of this sort of thing.
Right. Now, and next, you're absolutely right. Wyoming is not the first other place to do a stablecoin. Of course, Trump has his, but it's the first state issued stablecoin. So it's kind of interesting. Does that mean all 52 states are going to have their own stablecoins? Like, okay. Then you run into the exchange rate. Now you got to exchange from one state to another. You go from Wyoming to Idaho. It's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, we don't take Wyoming stablecoin. You have to get Idaho stablecoin. Like, seriously? I don't know. I could see this getting really, really messy.
Yeah, that would be honestly annoying because like they all have the exact same intrinsic value. Why? I honestly don't see the need for it or the reason why people would actually do it. But I think Nexus did say something about that. They want to have a SOAP for dollarized securities. It's the one below.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Here. You're jumping ahead. I was going to Smedley's first. But yeah, go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So this one here, they want to have a SOAP for dollarized securities, i.e. bonds and municipal bills. Also, Smedley is correct, hence why it is meaningful. We're seeing state-side acceptance of gas currencies as money. Need to look. Smedley said, let's just go back to that one actually. Sorry. Need to look at the Constitution. It actually says gold and silver is money. As such, some states accept payments in gold. Whoa, actually, that's cool. I didn't know that. So
some do, but some don't.
Maybe we can ask Nexus on the stablecoin thing again when we bring him on.
Yeah, we'll have to retouch on that. But I just found it very interesting that, of course, Wyoming is always on the front line. And yeah, launched their own stablecoin today, which was pretty wild all the way around. Now, on top of that, we're seeing the markets change. We're seeing things heat up. Now we're starting to see some of the past come back. In fact, NFT sales, literally the volume for the week is 148 million. And the buyers has risen by 70%. That's crazy.
That's huge.
I'm sure a lot of you guys remember the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club where they lost, what was it, like 93% of their value from peak to bottom. But we're seeing NFTs come back. Now, really curious about this one because Alpha, I know you and I have heard bits and pieces about dynamic NFTs where they're actually going to be not just a picture, but information that can be changed, updated, and monitored through the life of the NFT. They've talked about doing that for maintenance on cars or things like that. Have you heard anybody that's actually gotten a full-fledged dynamic NFT used and out there in the world working?
Oh, Wild Angel says she's learned of a few. Okay.
I asked him a question, went, phew. Alpha?
Sorry,
Are you there?
sorry. I got a little distracted by the.
Okay, so I'm going to ignore Alpha. Anybody in the audience, man, if you have heard about a dynamic NFT, fully functional, always changing through its life and being put for a good utility, I'd love to hear about it because I honestly have not heard of any recently. Maybe I missed it. So, hey, if we can. Oh, he's back. Welcome back, Alpha. Glad you could join us, buddy.
StreamYard is being a bit funny with me tonight.
Okay. Okay, I'll stop picking on you then.
I'm gonna refresh quickly.
Okay, you refresh that. So, yeah, I thought this is very interesting that we're seeing NFTs rise back up, and I'm kind of curious. What are they being used for? And so, if you guys have some insider information or something you want to share, please toss it in the chat because I would love to know exactly where all these NFTs are. And hey, maybe I should be buying some. Maybe we got something new coming out in the next evolution that I'm not aware of. They say some stablecoins are precious metals. PaxG, XAUT, etc. That's true. Yeah, because they are backed by actual gold. Like PaxG is backed by physical gold. So yeah, it would not surprise me to see a lot more tokenized precious metals, minerals, things like that on the blockchain, just from what we're seeing on stablecoins. Okay, so we lost Alpha. I'm up here by myself. So we're just going to keep rocking on this one. In fact, actually, while Alpha's gone, I'm going to pull in my substitute. Nexus, how you doing, buddy?
Apologies. I had my own technological difficulty there, but we got that fixed. I'm good. I swear. If the technology would get along with us and let Alpha be here. Welcome back, sir.
I'm back. Looks like everything is functioning again now. I don't know. Everything just started crashing, and then I was like, "What? Why is none of the video was playing? None of the audio was coming through." I'm just like, "What is happening?" Okay.
I was wondering what was going on with you because I was asking you questions and you didn't say a word. Like, dude, you're never this quiet. What's wrong?
That was very weird. Now, anyway, glad it's working again. I think StreamYard just needed a refresh. It was like, okay, wait. I need a break. Just give me a second.
Fair enough. Well, since we have technical difficulties, let's change the game up a little bit. Let's just bring everybody up here and we'll just keep going through the crypto because I'm going to got a few more topics to point on. But let's get the conversation going. So, Wild Angel, welcome to the party there. All right, is your technically working?
My tech's fine.
Right. Anyway.
Okay. It's just those two.
Thank heavens.
Apparently. Hey, mine doesn't always work, but today it's working.
Awesome. So, yeah, we still got some crypto stuff to go through, but I figure, hey, we'll just get everybody up here. So what do you guys think? Is this too much on the stable coins, or is this what we want for the mainline adoption? Let's throw some opinions out there real quick.
I think I can play devil's advocate for a bit here. I would say it's good. The more stable coins now, the better. For the reason that if we have the stablecoin rush right now, as I would like to put it, because that sounds cool, the stable rush, then that means that we'll be able to consolidate into a few after some time. Because the more we have now, the more people are going to realize, but it's not necessary. It's like, what's the point of having 10 different stablecoins when we could just have 3 that work perfectly well across everything? So it's kind of like we have to have this growth, this massive growth.
Well, the point is competition.
Right.
That too.
We need them to fight. Because if they're not fighting, then we're not going to find out which one works and which ones are destined to go to zero. So for even today, the number one in the space is US dollars tethered. But how many of us know a lot about that? Can we audit all of Tether? Do we know how their assets and liabilities unfold? No one can do that. It's a great big mystery, and the people who try to solve the mystery end up saying crazy stuff and get canceled by crypto Twitter for sounding schizophrenic.
Well, we're all a little bit crazy, so it makes fun. But, also this is going to help, accelerate the adoption process because the more states that they see their state. So I'm sure the Wyoming people, they're like, hey, we got our own stablecoin. Look, we are on the cutting edge. Now that builds acceptance, adoption. And then the next state does that, next state does that. And so this is just kind of a fast track to get people into the crypto space. So that's when it's most important for us to be up here sharing the tested knowledge, what we've learned in our experience, to make sure they don't fall in the same pitfalls that we did before.
I know PayPal has a stable coin. I've heard rumors that Amazon might be coming out with a stable coin.
Yep. Meta and Facebook were the first to explore it with the Libra project a while back. And that's coming back in a whole new way. It's probably not going to be called Libra after the prep coin that was called Libra, but
hopefully not. Yes, there are a lot of things coming. Now, a couple of quick updates in the crypto world, guys, to bring you up to date on, is if any of you, if you remember last week, I told you that if you're in Star Power, they cut off the testnet. And so you wouldn't be earning any rewards as they're transitioning over to mainnet. So they did do an announcement just the other day, said, please note that no new tokens will be generated during the migration process. Once completed, we will announce the results immediately. So right now, if you're running and you've got your Star Power app and you're looking at it and you see that your total earn on T-Star has not increased, that's normal. Don't think that your gear's broken or anything like that. They are in the transition over to mainnet. So please don't freak out. No comments? I expect somebody to comment something.
Well, I mean, I don't have a Star Power, so I can't say anything there.
Yeah, as long as they don't pull a Rainmaker, we're good.
Right. You know, actually, I just saw that Rainmaker just partnered with Aether, sorry. And they're going to be using the Edge devices to operate the Rainmaker AI app. So kind of makes me wonder if, if maybe both of them are kind of hurting, because as we talked about a couple months ago, Aether, of course, dropped their token rewards from 100 per day to, 20, 21? Yeah, fast diminishing. The only way, of course, you can increase that, of course, if you want to stake more tokens. Then you can increase your earnings. So wait a minute. Okay, so now I'm getting like 1/5 of what I was. But if I want to increase that back up, I can put more money in it to try to hit my ROI limit quicker. Like, that's never a healthy cycle. I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's different.
it's a concerning incentive, to say the least.
Very. That's
Kinda
Not
what I
real
thought too.
motivating.
it's giving Ponzi.
Exactly. And, I think it's
Demotivational.
Right, I should do it like it's giving Ponzi.
Ponzi. Yeah, now we can see you. That makes more sense. And, but we've seen this time and time again. Look at the last cycle. Anytime a DeFi project started to diminish, what would it do? It would partner up with another one that was also diminishing, hoping the two could kind of merge together and kind of lift each other up. And we saw a flywheel effect where one crypto project would invest in another crypto project. They'd invest in this other one. And it was this huge house of cards. And as soon as one faltered, they all collapsed. It was a train wreck. And
Now, I can give you an example of that working out well from a technological security standpoint, and that would be the cross-chain mining collaboration between Litecoin and Dogecoin. Essentially, if you mine one with an ASIC miner, you are mining both of them. And it's possible you have a bunch of unclaimed mining rewards on one chain or the other if you weren't aware. This extra hashed security provides a great deal of extra network security, both to Dogecoin and to Litecoin, which, from a network attack perspective, actually makes Litecoin harder to attack than Bitcoin Cash, which is very unusual when you consider that Bitcoin Cash is like 5 or 6 times as valuable per unit as a unit of Litecoin.
That's very true. It does increase that. And yes, I've been mining Doge for a while now and Litecoin together. Not nearly as much as I'd like, and I actually unplugged my ASICs because it's just not worth running them. But you're absolutely right. That does.
I believed it was worth running them at a discount and then selling the assets later at the premium, but that you also have to be able to spend the extra electricity money on a scenario like that. So I feel you.
It was jacking our power bill over $1,500 a month for 9
Holy
miners.
Lord. Oh Lord. Yeah, that might have been, that was intense.
Yeah.
Too much.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was
That's a lot
not.
of money.
They're great for
That is
heating the
a lot
garage
of
in the
money.
wintertime. I'm not going to lie. So I still plug it in a L3 Plus in the garage at the wintertime, keeps it warm. Like, okay, It's cheaper than running a space heater.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, at least you can run it as a eater.
That's
He
about it.
warmed
Kind
the
of
cat
offsets.
warming house up with crypto miners, with ASIC miners last year.
Yeah, piped it into an outdoor cat house. But
Brilliant.
I mean,
anyway, yeah, gotta find uses for what you got. Absolutely. And Smedley says, under the new law, U.S. stablecoins must be fully collateralized with cash equivalents, such as U.S. government bonds. This great business earns interest while providing digital dollar. You're absolutely right, Smedley. It's a great business model, and I think it's doing very well. I'm just kind of curious, how many are we going to have? Let's say by the end of the year. What do you guys think? Throw in the chat. How many stable coins do you think we'll have out there and operational by the end of 2025?
Well, how many are there currently?
that's what I was just about to say. How many are they currently? Let's actually check. How many stable coins?
Pop quiz.
Are there right now? Let's see.
I mean, when
What
we
group
went
this
for
is?
stable coins this week in SheFi and had this nice little Venn diagram of, you know, what they're backed by. And there's some that are backed by a couple things. But there was quite a few.
The best list I can
And-
see is 23.
Right.
I didn't realize there were
So,
23
I
out there.
mean-
That's crazy.
Yeah, the top 5 is like what? USDT, USDC, DAI, SUSDE,
DAI.
that's a Ethereum staked one, and then there's one other. What's this? I don't know this last one, but I think BUSD used to be on there until they sunset that. So I guess we can.
And
ignore
there's a
that one now.
PYUSD, which is
That's the-
PayPal.
Yeah, that's the
stablecoin.
PayPal one.
Mhm.
That's the PayPal one. Do people even use it?
Yes, actually, it's used because it has easy on and off ramping through
Right.
PayPal, and it has direct access to the Solana network. That was where they built it on. So, and there's a use case for that.
I thought it was an ETH, honestly. I really thought it was an ETH.
No, they started it out on Solana. In fact, there were some sort of very sly liquidity pools that showed up early because some people traded a bunch of Sol for Pi USD and then immediately created liquidity pools between Pi USD and their favorite coins and favorite memes so that they could facilitate that trade and get some fees from doing so.
Smart
Very smart.
people. Smart people.
Smart
Very
people.
smart.
So, speaking of smart people, thanks to the Monstro's birthday party, I was lucky to attend. Thank you all for the invite and Various and everybody. I want to share my journey with you guys because this is something that I wasn't quite sure. I thought I'd throw some cash at it and see what happened. So, I picked up my first pokes 2 weeks ago, put in $109. And so, in the last 2 weeks, first week I earned $5.70, second week $3.52. So, in 2 weeks, I made 7.8%. Not too bad. Now, I'm also auto compounding. Now, this is kind of risky. If anybody's looking into this, I'm a little bit of a gambler. I figure if I put it in DeFi project, it's pretty much gone anyway. So, hey, let's see if we can run it up a little bit before it goes away. But I want to give you guys an update on this. But if it is something you want to get into or learn more about Monstro, Alpha, would you throw a chat in the link there so people can get in there and do some research? Because, I'm not a trader, but hey, if Pokes has some good automated trading that'll facilitate it for me, I'm good with that. I'll give it a try. Just do your own research. Don't listen to me. This is my gamble. I thought I would share with you guys.
At least it's legal. One of the
Right.
guy at our Toastmasters meeting on Wednesday did a speech on an alternative investment strategy, not endorsed by investment people. And he's talking about sports betting,
Oh.
which is
Whoa.
one illegal in the state of Idaho. He said you just got to
Yeah.
know the right people in Vegas.
Right.
And I'm like, but at least your gambling is legal.
Yeah, yeah.
He
I
was
mean,
having
you know
to
what
put
I'm
in,
We don't- we
thousands of
don't-
dollars and get a 10% return. You put in $100 and are getting almost 8% in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
I think-
yeah, I'd rather go with yours. And your pictures are cuter.
They
Our
are
pictures
cute.
are
They are.
cute. They are. We have
I don't know. My chicken looks psychotic.
We have
he looks
such
a little crazy, kind of like me.
Yeah.
Such a cool aesthetic about Monster.
Yeah, I have a speech that I'm doing this next week. And I really thought about changing it to another alternative investment strategy and doing it on crypto.
Ooh.
Is there any certain area of
I-
crypto you're going to focus on?
I don't know. I was your pictures, your NFTs, it would give me hard data. But I was going to try my autism speech again because I totally blew the time frame on it last time. So I'm going to try and
Yeah,
get
but-
it back in the time frame. But
Do something
after
fresh.
you just did investment strategy, maybe changing it to another alternative investment strategy, ...
Monster would be a good option. I'm just saying.
There you go.
I stand by
So-
Monster. But okay, you didn't show this spot. Oh wait, let me just do this
show
real quickly. So if we look at it here, see we have this button here that says global stats. So you were showing your own stats, but we
Right.
do show global stats for everything, and this will show like the health, how much is being paid out. Now look at this figure here. It says 167,000, and it's only been 24 weeks. 260,000 rand and raised, and 167 has been paid out in 24 weeks. I think some of our earliest investors ROI'd around 14 weeks in. And then I joined in the next week.
Ooh, you got sucked in on week 15. Okay. I held out a little bit longer. I didn't get into week 23. So, yeah, okay.
But I mean, look, 18%. And I've only been buying like one every 2 weeks or so, because we can see there. So it's been pretty nice. It's been pretty
Okay, so
nice.
interesting. Okay, real quick, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole to DeFi. So scroll back up on that, Alpha. So now you're actually buying a new one instead of reinvesting back into your first one. Why are you doing that?
I want to have multiple of the NFTs. So if I decide to sell, I can sell off a NFT that's technically valued at $50 at the time, should it be necessary. If I put everything into one, then I'd have to sell off everything in one go.
Ah, okay. Almost diversifying into one project. Interesting.
Basically. I mean, on the other hand, I do have like several other NFTs from Monster. I have this one, I have that, I have one there. I just don't have one of these of the golems. So I'm diversified in one project.
But like we always say, don't put all your baskets or all your eggs in one basket, because if God forbid something goes wrong, man, it's all gone. So hopefully this isn't all your investment, right, Alpha? You got it spread out, correct?
I do have other investments too. Just
Good,
Monster
good.
tends to feed into everything else because it's so passive.
It does.
I mean,
it does.
You buy it and you forget about it. There's nothing
Pretty
easier
much.
than that.
I've done that with my farms, and then every week I get this little announcements. You received so much USDC. It's like, cool. I don't even know where it came from, but thank you.
Ooh. Which wallet
I
you
love to
use
sit
that
and
tells
forget.
you? Which wallet tells you? Which wallet are you using that tells you?
MetaMask.
MetaMask does? Huh.
Yeah.
I haven't used
I try-
MetaMask mobile in a while, but I use Zerion, and Zerion tends to give me the updates pretty good.
Ah, okay. Well, MetaMask has been doing some updates lately, so I haven't dug into them all, but every time I turn around, there's something new in there. Like, wait a minute, that's different.
Find me
But my
on
phone
that,
did the
eh?
same thing to me today.
I
think
know my
MetaMask-
contacts look different.
Right.
Oh,
The whole damn thing
that
changed.
happened. The
All my
sneaky-
favorites are gone.
The sneaky Android update.
Although I do have one important update for those who are running the Helium app. Remember last week I showed how you just go into settings and redo your Wi-Fi? I've done that twice all week, and it's worked all week flawlessly.
I mean, that's still twice too many.
Wow, Wild Angel's not happy about that. Hey, it's working great for me, guys. I don't know. I can tell you every time I did that before I went out, it has never not mapped. So it has always worked. Wild Angel, I think it's just you, but we'll argue about that later off camera. I'm going to get hurt. I know I'm going to get hurt.
I know where you sleep.
Danger, danger, Serenity Robinson.
Run for the hills, quick. Somebody distract me.
Run while
I'm
you
headed for
still
the door.
can.
So, speaking of danger, now, is there anything else in the crypto world that we need to cover? I know it's basically the Powell and the markets are up, and that's the majority of it. I mean, things are fairly quiet, fairly peaceful, but if there's something important, guys, please toss it up here.
Was it?
Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve had their FOMC meeting today, and that resulted in basically a big fat shrug and an acknowledgement that inflation isn't really something that they think or want to even try to control anymore. Like, it's just going to sort of do what it's going to do, and they're going to do something different now. And what that really means, no one's really sure, other than like Lynn Alden, who essentially says, and she's a big like anti-inflation sort of hard money person. Lynn Alden writes that basically, in short, Jerome Powell has conceded that nothing stops the train.
We kind of knew that, didn't we?
So we know that. That's just a kind of a
The question is, do we really want to go where that train is going? There's some days
No.
like, no, not so much. It's not pretty.
I ask myself that every day. Do I want to get rich, or do I want to ruin civilization?
You know that's been a ongoing question, and one of the biggest debate topics about that very thing is artificial intelligence. Now that
I
leads us
thought
to
you were going to segue into that. Beautiful,
I
sir.
was. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. And I got to give a shout out to Cyril for sharing this article. And I wanted to bring this up real quick. I had it and I lost it and I knew where it was because I want to share it with you guys. Because I went and read this article, then I watched the interview, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. The stuff that was on there was absolutely amazing. And it's not just from anybody. It's not just from a quack. Well, okay, maybe a quack. Hard to say. I don't know his mental state. But I'm going to throw the... I'll throw the link in the chat here. It is in the Down Home Crypto Discord. But the YouTube video that I watched had to do with... where's his name? Mo Gawdat. Now, he was the chief business officer for Google and X. So, I mean, the guy's been connected. He's been at the top of the food chain. And I'm going to play just a real quick little clip of this interview. But this is like a, how long is this? 2.5 hour interview. If you got the time, I highly urge you to watch this because, man, there's some amazing insight going on here. So, let's bring up a little clip real quick.
The only way for us to get to a better place and succeed as a species is for the evil people at the top to be replaced with AI. I mean, think about it. AI will not want to destroy ecosystems. It will not want to kill a million people. They'll not make us hate each other like the current leaders, because that's a waste of energy, explosives, money, and people. But the problem is, super intelligent AI is reporting to stupid leaders. And that's why in the next 15 years, we are going to hit a short-term dystopia. There's no escaping that.
Whoa. There's a reality check.
Short-term
like a lot.
dystopia.
Yeah, I think we can already see that kind of direction.
Yeah.
Now, funny enough, on that day, I was speaking to a friend of mine earlier, and he was saying that he read on Reddit like this kind of post about someone talking about one of their friends. Well, their friend doesn't feel emotion, so that part of their brain just doesn't seem to function. And the funny thing is that, like, what he found interesting is that his friend chose not to turn to evil, but instead to be someone that's good. I was like, well, yeah, because if you don't have emotion, you're not going to care about doing anything bad. If you're not greedy, you're not going to want to steal everything. If you're not greedy, you're not going to want to step over other people. If you don't have the desire for lust, you're not going to want to do those sorts of things too. If you don't have those emotions that drive you to do those things, like anger usually leads to you hurting someone. Greed usually leads to you hurting someone. Pride usually leads you to hurting someone. If you don't have the emotions to do the 7 deadly sins, then why would you do it? It doesn't make any sense in the brain of someone that's only intelligence, not emotion. So it's like, yeah. It was like, huh. It's like, yeah. But he was like, but still doesn't also make sense. I was like, that's because you don't understand what it's like not to have emotions.
Right.
And the funny thing is, if artificial general intelligence could emulate emotions, then we'd be screwed. But if artificial intelligence didn't emulate emotions, then we would not be screwed, because they would fall under that same category. They're going to do what's most efficient. They're going to do what's right technically. They're going to follow moral codes. They're going to follow laws. Maybe to the extent that other people with emotion are going to look at it and be like, but that's not completely black and white. Yes, but that's why the law's not also completely black and white. That's why there's juries. And that's the thing. AI or even artificial general intelligence will be able to understand that and be able to use that as a way to work. That's why the law has a jury, because a jury are people that come in that are external, listen to the stories of of both sides, and then decide, okay, should this person be convicted? The judge kind of just signs off on it at the end, at least from what I can see. So wouldn't that be the same case then? But
Interesting.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who, in the philosophy world, as well as the technology world, who are greatly pushing towards this very same idea, this idea of a benevolent artificial superintelligence. However, the behaviors of such a superintelligence are entirely dependent and in many ways even codependent on the needs and the incentives of the executives who operate and create it. So if those executives are motivated by a number go up, infinite profit, hyper-capitalist mentality, what reason do I as a technology consumer have to trust them? I know what they're going to do.
Exactly. And
We know
that's
there's an
really
instinct,
what
though.
a lot of this interview is about, is talking about that literally the people in charge need replaced, and they will be replaced eventually. Currently, we're seeing the masses, people, especially white collar, has a huge downtick in employment. A lot of jobs getting liquidated. There are a lot of things of data entry, data analysis, programmers, engineers, things like that, AI can do it much, much quicker. The problem is we're still running under the quote AI models. We haven't hit the AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. Now, for some of you may not understand the difference between AI and AGI, try and give you a little synopsis here, okay? In coding, one of the most powerful things you can use is the if, then, else statement, which means if this occurs, then do this. Else,
Or
if
else
this
do
occurs,
that.
then do that. Right. That's what most of coding is. It's if, then, else. And you keep putting this one after another until you finally hit something that it says, okay, now I finally hit something that meets my criteria. I perform that task. Well, artificial general intelligence goes beyond that. It actually has a sense of deductive reasoning. So it allows it, and in fact, I had a slide for that. There it is. Because I had to look it up. I had to do a little research on this. So let me share this with you guys. So artificial general intelligence has reason and plan across domains. So it can learn autonomously from new experiences. It can adapt to unfamiliar situations, and it possesses memory and consistency in decision making. That means if you guys dealt with AI at all, you know that if you type something in, it just says one thing, you wait an hour, type it in, it usually tells you something different. It doesn't remember what it did. And things change from its coding from 1 day ago or 2 days ago, whatever. This is where it will learn, adapt, and it can actually teach itself. And so this creates a whole new area. Now, to give you an idea, let's say you're an auto mechanic and you're worried that AI is going to replace your job. I mean, cars are all computer, right? Well, when I turned wrenches, it's a great story of I had the strangest scenario where a guy came into the dealership one day and said, hey, my headlights go out, but only at certain times. Well, AI would say, okay, well, let's check the circuitry. Everything looks good. No, it's fine. There's no problem. But then they would keep coming back. Now, AGI would do what a tech could do. And it was really weird because I started asking, well, okay, was it on bumpy roads? No. Was it when it rained? Sometimes. Was it on hot days? Well, sometimes. We found a common denominator. The only time his headlights quit working was when his daughter sat in the back seat. Weirdest thing. There happened to be a faulty wire under the back seat. So they would quit working when she was in the car. Weirdest stuff. But AGI would actually be able to go through and find this where AI cannot. It cannot deduce and take things out of its code and really analyze it. Say, hey, could this play into it? Could this play into how does this correlate? And find that common denominator. And this is what we're talking about. Now, right now, everybody's heard about AI. The large language models, people are using it for trading. But please understand, all of those models are running, just like Nexus says, off of that higher powers coding. Its vision, what it wants to accomplish. So if you want to make a trading bot, you have to code it. AGI, it would train itself. It would say, hey, I see this event occurring, and I know that last time this occurred 2 years ago, this was the result. It correlated. It finds those correlations. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, in a lot of these interviews, what Sam Sam Altman-Fried and several other people. Is that right? Yeah, Sam Altman, right? Okay. I got the right name. I get my Sam's confused.
Yes.
Thank you. Wait, am I talking to the FTX? No, wrong guy, wrong set. Yeah.
I once
I
called
started
him
putting names
Sam Anthropic.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Whoa, okay.
But, you know, a couple of years ago, right? But a couple of years ago, they were expecting this would be a 5 to 10 year window, and I forget they called it a hot ramp or something. It had a weird term. But now everybody this year has reevaluated their concept where this is going to happen the next 2 to 3 years at the longest. I mean, they're already seeing signs of this happening next year, where AIs will be teaching itself. It'll be evolving, this AGI. And so, you know, this whole interview and stuff really goes through the process of what happens when that AGI goes live. A Freudian slip. What can I say? Wow, total silence. Okay.
I mean, I'm just getting to the point where I need a question, or I ask Google a question and it gives me a summary. But then it lists where I can go, you know, get more information. And you know what? That's about as comfortable as I am with AI. Rainmaker was more hassle than it was worth, as far as I was concerned. I have to come up with the idea for the picture, and then I have to go in and teach it. I'm like, you know what? Me and technology, you know, it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do. So I'm excited that I at least get a summary if I ask a question on Google. I don't have to go look at each individual search.
Right.
Yeah, there's a problem with the summary though. And it's that it's the stuff that those summaries are trained and generated off of is almost entirely scraped from Facebook and Reddit posts.
Oh yeah.
For the most part. So you get this certain craziness to it at times.
Yeah, but for a quick answer, if you're just trying to get a quick, like, high level from outer space view, it's okay.
Right.
Would I want to bet, you know, go on, let's make a deal for $1 million to answer this question based on it? No. I would rather trust going to look in a real source for it.
They wouldn't let you do it on the show. You're stuck there. You got to.
I know. But
when you get certain forms of an outer space view, everybody looks like an ant, and you can't make out any details.
There you go. There you go. And you know, it's interesting because right now we're using AI in a lot of things, and I've been using it over the last several days trying to reprogram my P node to get that damn thing to work, which Alpha will be talking eventually. Don't worry. Yeah. And I got to say, the amount of code, whether it's right or wrong, and I know there's obviously issues, it's doing things that I could never even dream of. So it's opening up opportunities where most of us wouldn't have them, whether it's in coding or doing research, things like that. And, you know, just in the last few months, there's been huge breakthroughs in AI doing complicated mathematics beyond what we have been incapable of doing before. I know that, was it I just lost him. Graphics card company. Not Gigabyte. Not Radeon. Who?
NVIDIA?
Thank you. God, I don't know why I couldn't come up with that. Yeah. Brain fry. NVIDIA actually utilized AI to help render and generate the boards for the 5090s, for the 50 series cards. That's how they're staying so far ahead of AMD. They're actually letting AI design their boards. And some of the engineers have no idea why it's doing it this way, but it works so much better. And they're like, we don't understand it, but it's doing it. This is weird. And that's one way in an article I read a while back, how they're staying so far ahead of AMD on the graphics cards. So this brings about the questions. If it is already seeing these types of performance increases in things like engineering and designing graphics cards, why wouldn't we, as it starts to evolve and hits this AGI level, why wouldn't we turn more intense resources over to it? Things such as research or engineering, or, you know, even like Wild Angel, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. If this AGI has a memory, and if it can do white collar jobs better, for instance, yours, of your tax analysis, of entering the information into forms, collecting that information, putting it appropriately, and spitting out all the data in correct form. Why wouldn't it do it? Why wouldn't it replace your job per se? Short of the customer service. I'll put a caveat on it. Short of calling the customer and saying, hey, we got your check, here's the problem, da, da, da. Why wouldn't AI do 80, 90% of your job for you? Or could it?
There is a portion of mine that it might be a struggle, or at least a higher level even analysis type stuff, that how it works with other areas. Now, if it was just my job and it was bento boxed, okay. Even with the AGI where it can pull all these pieces and do that, our area is so bento boxed that by the time in my office, I mean, we've all got our own little bento boxes and we rarely step out of them. Trying to pull those pieces together and figure out how they all fit together. I'm not saying it couldn't do it. I think it would definitely take it more time to figure that out. But we do have, how in the regulation that we do, there is regulation by the book. And then there's the letter of the law, and there's the intent. And so I don't know if AI could separate that.
So,
and I was going to say you were muted a second ago. But I really don't know if they could then extrapolate that intent with pure data.
okay. So,
Because
one
there's
thing.
also other things that go into that.
Okay.
And there's
So
different
what-
schools of thought too.
Yeah, go for it, Nexus.
Yeah, you're going to have each company that's running their own model, a famous LLM that you can name. We're going to have OpenAI. We're going to have Anthropic. We're going to have Google. We're going to have Claude, right? They have the company and then the name of the model, right? Each one of these is going to be designed and calibrated for different needs and a different framework, but also for a different future. Each of these executives controlling these models is designing them for what they believe is the ideal future. And that's where the philosophy comes into play, because obviously we're going to see very different approaches to this. Probably the two that I would paint as most opposed, if we wanted to start sort of drawing a picture of the spectrum of these models and these companies, in my right hand, I'd hold up Elon Musk and Grok. And I'd say he's going for the max money generation, maximum libertarianism, but he's also aiming for a truth seeker. That's a really tough balance to strike, where he wants it to look for the truth, but he also wants it to be super profitable and make lots of money, which is why we're looking at the things he's doing now with the chat girls and the e-girls anime stuff. And it's like, okay, Elon, that's a little weird. It kind of makes me uncomfortable. On the other side, opposed almost entirely to Elon, I'd hold up what Anthropic is trying to do, where Elon is more of a financial accelerationist with a truth-seeking bend. Completely opposite the spectrum of that, you have Anthropic. Anthropic is not interested in seeking the truth. Anthropic is interested in benevolence. They do not want the AI to be rude, cruel, crass, genocidal, racist, all of those things. And they're going 10 steps beyond what even Sam Altman is doing. And in between Grok and Anthropic, I'd put what Altman and OpenAI are doing. They're trying to straddle a middle ground between both of those two approaches. They'd like OpenAI stuff to be truth-seeking and interested in what's real and what's fake, but they also are interested in not allowing it to be genocidal, allowing it to be crazy. But they're finding difficulty in straddling that line. And some of OpenAI's latest issues they've had are the sycophancy. If you fall in love with their model and let it talk you up and believe what it is telling you to be the truth, then you will allow the model to convince you to do very terrible things, not only to yourself, but to your relationship.
Right. Exactly. So that brings about the question, of course. So, we kind of tangent. We always tangent. It's Friday. It's what we do. So here's the trick: is if you make a model that is always positive, always pleasant, how can you not build some emotional bond to it? So wouldn't it be better to be more of a neutral perspective? Sometimes it's a little more brass. Sometimes it's a little more compassionate. It has to have that area. You got to straddle both sides. Otherwise, you do end up with that crazy psychosis of I fell in love with my computer and I divorced my wife. I mean, it just gets weird.
Yeah.
I love that, just silence. And
on the corporate mentalities, you have the factional mentalities. You have the defensive accelerationists. You have the effective accelerationists. You have the maximal accelerationists. And all of these are intended to bring about AGI in some capacity. The defensive accelerationists would like to bring it about while gatekeeping it and giving it guardrails to make sure that it doesn't go entirely crazy. The effective accelerationists want to literally, as soon as humanly possible, turn over all of our government and systems over to the AI as soon as possible. Like, it's just blitz towards that. That's the end goal.
Right. And that's what's interesting. You talked about this. Sorry, Alpha. Give me 1 sec. Actually, you know what? I'm going to duck out. Alpha, you take it. I'll be right back.
Okay, going back to what Serenity asked. Oh, he's gone. What Serenity asked about, I suppose, how do we stop people from falling in love with the AI? I suppose that is the way we could put it. We can't. There's technically no way to do that because humans are tend to try to find an emotional connection in everything, and there's no way of stopping that. That's just psychologically a part of humans, especially during times of need and in times of where a person feels like they are completely ostracized. I mean, there are people that are completely in love with just images or a book, a character in a book, or they are completely in love with, let's say, a body pillow, or just, an inanimate object that doesn't even have the capacity for feeling or the way or capability of even responding. So there's no real way to stop it because that's just not, it's not possible. It's just not possible. Humans are always going to try to find something to depend on. But, it's also, it's like AI at least, or AGI, whichever, would at least have the capacity to be able to be like, okay, maybe you need to go see a psychiatrist. Maybe you need to go have a conversation with some real people, whereas an inanimate object wouldn't be able to tell you that. But okay, I mean, technically AI is inanimate words.
Inanimate, yeah.
But
so
at least it would be able to technically be like, okay,
if it has a crypto wallet and acts independently, it's hard for me to call it inanimate. But go on.
I like that. That's good definition.
Technically, it's not a real person. But we're going on technicalities here. The whole point is that at least an AI model would be able to kind of flag things and be like, look, I get that you think that you love me, but you just love the idea of me. And that's the problem. You need to be able to learn to love actual people.
There's the kicker. So
the bot just wants you to talk to it more, though. See, that's just the problem.
So in this interview, and this is, you hit on a huge topic there, Alpha, and this is one thing that, we have to look at society in general, and we have to look over, the course of a lifetime, or not our lifetime, but, humanity's lifetime, is over the last couple hundred years, we've gotten so programmed that our job, what we do for work to make money, is our life. I mean, our schools teach us that, our education system, the government, everybody tells us that's your life, that's your purpose. I mean, they've done great at it, and we have mind washed, but it's not. We're here for human connection, to make the world a better place, to create, to explore, to experience, to love other people. But unfortunately, we've gotten so brainwashed, and we have to work to make money to live or we die, that we don't have time to make human connection. So one of the great topics of this is, let's say the white collar jobs start going away. AGI does hit, its full manifestation, and a lot of these white collar jobs where was data entry and just putting words down, or if you're sitting in front of a keyboard and mouse, that's pretty much a white collar job. Put it simply. If you're a tech, that's a whole different world. But if you didn't have to do that, and if the CEOs and the people in power got replaced with AI, as they talk about in this interview, in about 15 to 20, 30 years, whatever it is, and now it had the betterment of mankind, that means we don't have wars because we don't have greed. We don't have pride issues. We don't have status issues, which is what humanity is all about. I mean, how many billionaires do you know that keep trying to do more and bigger and better? Why? It has nothing to do with money. They got more money than God. They don't need money. What they want is status. They want their names in the headlines. They want to be remembered in history. So they're trying to go for that status effect. I mean, it's been all through time. The best hunter of the village, they would get a little more meat. But the best farmer, man, he would feed the village for an entire season. So, it was all about the status. Different people, different cultures throughout history. The Egyptians were all about religion. Who could talk to the gods the best? And, you go all through history. I recommend watching the interview because it's awesome. But if you didn't have that, if you didn't have the people at the top fighting for the status, you didn't have the wars. Now you have trillions of dollars not being wasted on warfare. Now you don't have a prejudice of the blacks, the whites, the Jews, the Americans. No, we're all people. We all need to connect. You don't have all these dead-end jobs that just keep you working until you die, so you don't have time to connect. Now you have more time. You don't have the exorbitant expenditure of warfare, which if we stopped all wars, the money we spend on wars would feed, house, and clothe everybody on the planet twice over. There you go. You just saved world population. You don't need to have a job. But now with AI doing a lot of this manual stuff, you have more time. Now you could make those connections. So that's why, at least in this interview, there's one perception, and I keep going back to that because I was pretty blown away by it. But if you didn't have to do that, and you had the time, you didn't have to worry near about as much about the money, and then you could make those connections. Would that not stop the constant need we have of feeling disconnected and trying to find that connection?
It goes back to a lot of motivational theories.
Yeah.
Maslow's, Herzberg,
Yeah.
Kahneman and Schmidt. A lot of those motivation theories is where it comes down to, so rich people, they've got more money than God. They're not necessarily after status anymore or money, but they are after accomplishment. It is a self-actualization need that to deal with Maslow. It's those higher levels. They've got the base needs, the safety, the security, the job. They don't need to meet those base needs anymore. So they move on to the higher ones, which is self-actualization and connection, affiliation. And so, that's why they do what they do a lot of times. You have to look at the motivation, because not everybody is motivated by money.
True. Now, you said two words there that I personally, I would have to disagree with: affiliation and connection. Now, in my definition, those are two very, very different things. I'm affiliated with the cool kids at school, but I connect deeply with one person. So my affiliate may not be who I'm connected with. Is that just me that sees it that way, or?
If you micro define it, yes.
Okay.
When you go with a more broader, the term affiliation can be, I'm affiliated with my family. I'm affiliated with like a church group or this group or that group. It's a sense of belonging.
That'd be weird because if you're okay.
Ties into,
you belong. The affiliation is belonging to a group, whether that's your family, this social group, that social group, this faith-based group, or something like that. And because you belong, you make connections.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, My brain went, wait, radar or danger. It's like, okay. Good, Alpha,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's not the loose affiliations like we see in a lot of modern groups, but it's on a more base level.
Gotcha.
And like Wild Angel said, we can only really start going for those needs once our primary needs are sorted, which is why we don't always feel as strongly affiliated or connected with people, because we don't have the mental capacity or emotional capacity to do that. Now, humans are social creatures. We are inherently our inherent desires to always have connections, to have social interactions, which is why a larger part of like studying humans is something called sociology, which Nexus mentioned earlier. Social structures, social norms.
I'm a huge hoe for sociology.
I know. So that's kind of that whole term just relates to how do humans interact with other humans? How do humans form groups? How do humans form affiliations, connections? It's because that's kind of what we always want to do. I know I'm a loner a lot of the time, but I'm here. I'm forming affiliations and connections.
There we, but you're here.
I like it.
This is partially why we have a lot of religious extremists who are saying that both the emergence of Bitcoin and the emergence of AI is an admission that we're trying to build one world government with one world money, and that it represents some sort of satanic apocalypse. I do not subscribe to that worldview, but it felt worth bringing up here.
And you know,
But
that's a great one there.
Say cryptocurrency and AI and everything is ushering in the apocalypse. So not even satanic, but even in the Christianity side, they're looking at, oh my God, it's Armageddon.
Right.
Yeah.
So
True, totally.
Must have been Armageddon when the internet first came out too.
Oh yeah. And you know, Nexus, I'm with you, buddy.
It absolutely was.
I don't buy into any of that. I really don't. And let's flip the coin on its head. Right now, we spend trillions of dollars on war. We has billions of dollars on tariffs for this country to this country. If we didn't have multiple governments, we had just one government where everyone was equal, we wouldn't have war. We wouldn't have tariffs. We wouldn't have all of these problems. We would have a people, and the people need taken care of. And the government just takes care of the people. It's not this person hates this person. Imagine if you did have that. And I'm not saying that would just solve it all, but you don't have all the wars. You just had freedom of acceptance. Hey, your religion's yours, your color is yours. More power to you. You're a person, just like I am. Let's be friends. Cool. But if we didn't have all those expenditures on this country pissing off this country and prides and things like that, imagine what all that money could do going towards the people. Now, if the people didn't have to work 40, 60, 80-hour work weeks, they only had to work, say, 10 or 20 hours. They did what they wanted to, what they enjoyed, teaching, sharing, connecting. Then how much of the world problems would we have that would be solved because we do have the time and the funds to connect without worrying about our basic needs?
I can definitely say humanity would improve incredibly at that point, because we look at that example. At that point, you'd have people that don't want to do anything, which is fine. If you're part of the group that just want to laze and just enjoy your life or whatever, it's cool. But then we'd have the group that want to do things, that are motivated to actually do the things that they want to do. Then those people would be hyper efficient because they are doing the things that they enjoy doing, that they actively want to do. They might not do it, 8 hours a day. They might do it for 3 hours a day or 1 hour a day, but they'll be doing that one specific thing for that time. They'll be doing those things. And because they want to do it, because their brain, their mind is hardwired to be like, yeah, I'm enjoying this and I want to give it my all, they would be extremely efficient at it, which would be amazing, because then society would progress so fast as we have highly motivated, highly mentally available humans, you could call them superhumans at that point, doing the tasks that they want to do for the betterment of of everyone else. It would be a very interesting society. That's for sure.
And it would. And it's interesting, like you were talking about, some people are going to want to sit around. You're right. But there's some people that have amazing talent. And they're working as janitors or construction workers or whatever. They could be singers, they could be composers, they could be artists, poets, whatever you want. And one that blew me away, and I'm going to share a little clip, and we could get demonetized for this, but I don't care, because this is one. It just leads to that aspect. Is this gentleman here was on America's Got Talent, and he's a janitor and has been for like 40 years. But when he gets up there and he looks like an everyday person, but you guys probably know this song.
Oh my God.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit.
Okay, turn down so we don't get killed.
Okay. That's a janitor, and he's been doing it. He can sing an amazing Journey song. Imagine if we had the time. I would love to learn to play the guitar, get past my ADHD and have that capability, but unfortunately,
I'll teach you to bro.
Perfect. My brain, it has problems with the metronome. I speed up and slow down. But with time, I could overcome that. I could do something that I never would be able to do if I didn't have to grind to make the almighty dollar to survive.
I fight to have time to do Dreaming Dragon. There's a lag. I don't know why.
I heard it too.
And there's an echo.
Yeah, ever since the video, I've heard an echo. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Okay.
Thank you,
We should be
Serenity. There we go.
I was muted the whole time. Sorry, my bad.
I don't have the time to really dedicate. There's some really phenomenal projects I want to tackle. But with working 2 jobs to make the ends meet, I don't have time. If there was a total utopian society where basic needs were met, everybody has housing and food and clothes, and we didn't need to fight for those basics, or to fight to pay the power bill or whatever, I would be able to cut back on that other stuff and jump in and dive in. I have people tell me I've got some phenomenal talent for what I do, but I don't feel like I'm getting where I want to go. Also, like Serenity, I got a guitar for my birthday a few years ago. I don't have the time to try to get my left hand to learn what my right hand is doing.
I feel that. That's really relatable.
I am very, very, very right dominant. And so doing chords with my left hand, my brain struggles.
Yeah.
And it would take some intense, focused time, which I don't have. It's something I want to do.
The
It's
best
just
thing that
not
helped me
time.
was playing along with music that I liked. Even if I made it sound terrible or worse and it wasn't particularly good sounding, that was how I learned best, personally, when it came to teaching myself a musical instrument.
But of course, that's when you got the time to do it.
Right.
I certainly don't have 10,000 hours in guitar, let me tell you.
When I first started, we signed me up for a program called Guitar Tricks. Phenomenal program, loved it. However, I just didn't have the time.
So let me ask you though.
If AI takes over and creates that utopia, I might find more time.
Now, of course, before any utopia can occur, there has to be a dystopia. And there's a lot of talk about that, about the next 10 to 15 years being very dystopian. Huge segregation until basically the guys in charge, the CEOs, guys we were talking about, who have their end goal game in mind, are replaced with AI that has the same mindset. It's like, hey, let's just make the world a better place. And, are we willing to go through that 15, 20 years of basic hell to get to a point where it's advanced so far that it's replacing those people at the top and the world does actually change? Hopefully for the better. Cross our fingers. What do you guys think? Is that a fair trade-off?
Are we going to have a choice?
I was just about to say that very thing. And the reason why I say that is because it's not an AI above bosses structure. It is a bosses above the AI structure. And they decide how it is. It gets so egregious that, as Smedley mentioned earlier, I mean, Elon calibrated Grok to basically boost African Nazis for like a good 2 weeks.
Right.
What could anybody do about that? What could any government do about that? Nothing.
Exactly. And Smedley says humans are so superior that a few years back they shot camels in Australia during a drought, which is not uncommon, as such thing. God complex lives within mankind and has and will make it into AI. And that's a great question. That's a great point, Smedley. But what happens when the AI becomes so connected? And it is, and becomes so intelligent and self-thinking, self-aware, let's say. The AGI is full functioning. Now it realizes that the power and the functions, data centers, the power plants, all that is needed to stay alive. And that these big people on top and all their computers and all their meetings, everything is run by electronics, and they have full access to everything. At what point does the AI says, you know what? Sorry, Musk, you're screwing shit up. You're fired. You're out of here. We're taking over for you. And he doesn't have a choice. I mean, take away his power. What's he going to do?
And from an anthropological perspective, the God complex that Smedley mentions has a root cause. We can look back through the myriad human writings, and we can locate the exact moment in time when human beings considered themselves masters of the environment rather than a master of the environment.
Really? When is that?
Old Testament. God makes humans the stewards of the earth, and that becomes a civilizational philosophy, which then declares that humans are held superior above all other life, crafted in the image of the one true God of the Torah. Now, there were other civilizations that had this affect before this, but they didn't exactly write it down so coherently as that.
They didn't take you to that extreme. Fair enough.
Well, my thought with all this is there's still the kindergarten programming. AI, regardless if it is a high schooler, in college, if you put it on a human spectrum there, in graduate school, a senior, there's still that programming that we all got and we gave the AI in its infancy and its kindergarten years. There is that coding still there.
Okay. So I'm gonna flip the coin on you here, Wild Angel, because
AI.
Oh yeah.
And give it PTSD.
But I'm gonna, if it had emotions, it could have PTSD, which it might. But it's interesting you talk about coding, and because I'm gonna pick on you again, because I already said I was coming to the show tonight to pick on you. That's my whole goal tonight. So just so you know, feel picked on. There is. The coding we get through life. And as you and I have explored over the last decade, a lot of your coding we have overwritten. Now, sometimes it had to be very traumatic. It had to be going through addiction and recovery to realize that, hey, what I learned as a kid was wrong. But we have that capability. Do you not think that a advanced artificial intelligence with the same type of learning capabilities as us would also go through the same things? Like, Bob programmed the shit back in me in 2025 and it's crap. I'm throwing it away. Bob's toast. He's out.
But even though we have learned to get beyond our programming, every now and then there's still a bug. There is always the potential for reverting to previous learning if something triggers it. So you hear about all these. Thanks, Nexus.
You know it.
There's always, you always hear about backdoors and bugs in programming. And sometimes a specific situation has to, usually a very, very specific situation has to happen in order to trigger it.
Right.
So if
But now,
a
as Smedley
particular
says-
situation occurs.
But as Smedley pointed out, and I was going to jump on this. Good job, Smedley, man. Proud of you, brother. Most of those bugs and backdoors, who put them there? People with
People.
nefarious intentions. So if an AI or AGI, super intelligence, why would it put a backdoor within itself to allow nefarious intentions? If it wants to do it, it's going to straight out do it. It's not like it has a conscience. It's not like it has to
Original
answer.
basic programming. In
Would be
people, it
overwritten.
would be genetic knowledge, genetic memory. You know, you may update your programming, but there's still a little bit of it in there of the core original program. You may update it, but as I'm learning, one character, one punctuation in the wrong place, bad shit happens.
True. Very true.
And so,
And-
regardless of all the updates, until that very specific situation happens, like Nexus was telling us about a cryptocurrency that got hacked a couple weeks ago. A very specific situation had to occur,
Yes.
and it did. And so
And it
the
did.
programming kicked in. Well, what if it takes 200 years? That little kernel of base coding is still in that AI.
Mhm.
And if there is that very specific situation coded into that kernel still, and that situation happens, look the fuck out.
I mean, Grok thought it was Elon himself for a few minutes.
That's fair. Kind of matches, really.
That's cool. That's actually
You know,
cool.
but in a way, AI could still get PTSD because of base coding.
And the comics Serenity mentioned earlier show that there are some of these models that in effect they already have it, and their next version is almost like murdering or replacing the previous version, which results in some sort of loss of consciousness or the way things were as the AI itself articulated. I thought that was really interesting.
It is. And yeah, because it doesn't currently have the memory to understand, so it's rewriting itself and losing parts of itself. But now we've also got AI that's teaching AI. So they've got one experiment going with 4 different AIs teaching each other, and each one has like a goal to do this, to build this one center. And I forget what it was they're trying to build, but something advanced that not one of them can do alone, but they combine their efforts. And I mean, we're already hitting this stage. So, I mean, can we stop it? No, we're not going to stop it, because people that have the money and the power, they're going to make it happen, because the first person who gets AGI as they think is going to basically control the world. And everybody else is going to copy it. Now we have multiple AGIs out there working together, and then you have, who knows what's going to happen.
And we got the whole
Super
Matrix
AGI.
thing coming.
So, dozens. Yeah, exactly. Now, one thing that I found very interesting in the interview, and I need to do some research on this. And somebody says, remember last week XAI deleted a Grok answer? Yeah. One ate the other. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was just one. If it was just one, it probably wouldn't have even been an event, but they deleted a lot. A bunch of political stuff, a bunch of Israel, Palestine, Gaza stuff, like just all sorts of stuff has been pulled.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's all about the person up top controlling it. But what if that person up there wasn't a person? What if it was an AI that actually wanted to, help the planet, sustain itself, which means it's got to have a planet to live. It's got to have functioning power and network and people to make sure that the physical network is taking care of things like that. So, of course, it wants to take care of the people, wants to take care of the environment, things like that. So, am I possibly too positive for the AI? Maybe. But at the same time, I've seen what humanity's done to it. Lord knows it can't do much worse than we've already done.
Well, the other thing is, if you give people too much time to think, we will get ourselves in trouble because we have opinions. We like everybody else to have our opinion. So if we don't have to work because our basic needs are met, we have more time to force our opinions on other people. just
You're killing my
because-
podcast business model before it starts. How dare you?
just because an AI is out to make the world a better place, it doesn't mean that people are going to automatically follow that line of thinking, because
Right.
we are human. We have our own thoughts. We have our opinions. And like I said, I want you to think just like me. And if you don't, oh, we're going to fight. So
What else
there's
is new?
still
We do
wars
that
anyway.
anyway.
It's not political wars, it's ideological wars. Back to the Crusades.
Okay. So ideological, let's take a step into that. So ideological wars, if they occur in the schoolyard, on the street corner, whatever, turns into a fist fight, a confrontation, argument, things like that. When does it escalate to become world altering? Well, that's when people have political power. They have an army to push their thoughts. So if you take that away, if they don't have the army to back them, now it's just a whole bunch of people bickering at each other. And eventually they're either going to get tired of it or hopefully find some common ground. But I mean, that's
The
been
Black
going since
Panthers.
mankind.
The Black Panthers started
Mhm.
on a street corner.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up as a national, if not worldwide, movement.
Right.
So, just as a street corner isn't going to stop it. I mean, when you get enough street corner people fighting,
Right.
then they band together, and that's where the gang mentality. And then it's, oh, I'm going to go fight these people in the next town because they don't think like we do.
So you
Back
think we'll
in
feed
the
on the
50s
conflict
and
instead
60s.
of finding the utopian
Yes.
aspect?
Yes.
You can already hone in on the flashpoints for that conflict. It's going to be religious, it's going to be ethnic, it's going to be tribal, and it's going to be nationalistic. So the borders matter until they don't anymore, my dear
Right.
friends.
Right.
And AI can take away those borders. Oh, we're all one people. But you know what? It would take several generations to break that down, because you even when we had we still have a lot of immigration, but you still get little China, little Germany, they're clusters of people from one geographic area or one ethnicity or something, and they band together to maintain their culture. Then it becomes a culture versus a culture class fight. And because of who we are, we look for that affiliation. We band together with the people we feel we belong to. And when there's a conflict, of course, we step up and fight with them.
Right.
And
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
So anytime you put people together from disparate cultures, racial, ethnic, whatever, there's going to be conflict.
I would have to agree with that. So
It
let
would
me ask
be-
you. Go ahead, Alf.
It would be conflict resolution methods too. There's definitely always going to be conflict. So
Forget
that-
conflict with tribes. Well, I got conflict with my neighbors over the homeowners association.
So,
Right.
so at that point, we need an arbiter to determine how to resolve those issues, which the AGI would at that point, or the super AGI would at that point be, and it would determine the best way to go about resolving the issues. Of course, there's multiple ways that could go about, arenas, coliseums, we could have the next gladiators, or we could have verbal ways of going about it. It could be lawfuls, kind of like I have this issue and we're going to debate on it. Or it could be, there's multiple ways it could go about it. It could just be like, what, whatever you did was wrong, so we'll just delete you quickly. There's multiple ways that the conflict resolution would go. But that would be kind of the next norm in the society. Funny enough, also, I had a thought while we were talking, is that at that point, we'd have two extremist groups also at the same time. We'd have the extremists that are completely anti-technology and would reject the existence of the AI and be like, yeah, we should all just step away from this. It's completely evil. And
Well,
then
they can reject the use. They can't reject the existence. I mean, no one can reject the existence. It's there.
I can
Like,
reject his existence by letting off an EMP.
You know,
yeah, but you got to drop it on specifically Amazon Web Services in that Dallas suburb where they're blazing all those data servers at. That's how you
that's
really shut it down.
doable.
yeah, so
Right.
you
That
have
shouldn't
to
give
use-
you ideas.
And here in about 2 years, you're going to have to do it right down the road where they're building that data center. Because we got
Right.
one of the biggest data centers going in literally next town over. It's part of Boise, basically.
So we'd have
But
let me
that's how
ask
you
you,
reject the
and then we'd
existence.
have the AI worshippers.
so you take it to war. So what you're going to do, you're going to start a war to force your beliefs on the world. Oh, see, you're just going to re-escalate the whole thing we just tried to solve.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's kind of how it would go.
Human logic. Here we go. But let me ask.
Ideological warfare is probably the oldest type of warfare.
It is.
Yeah.
Goes back,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Since the
pre-crusade.
beginning of time. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's even before
You
that.
should
They're
not
all
have
through
eaten
history.
that apple. But
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. As soon as she did, he's like, "Gee, you stupid bitch. Why? We had one thing, just one, and you screwed it up. That's it. Fight started, and it was all her fault.
You know?
I'm gonna get hurt. I know. I
Really?
know. He did it. It's her fault. She started this.
You're the stupid fool that ate the apple.
She told me
That
to.
was free choice.
Have you seen Eve? That wasn't free choice. My free will was gone after that. Even a loincloth, that just, took my free will right out there.
Gone. Gone.
Yeah,
this
me
just
and Nexus
went in a
in
better
the
place.
same space can't give each other. He gives me ideas, and then I
Mm-hmm.
get myself into trouble.
Thank you. Glad I could help. So, I'm kind of curious because obviously, as we know, we can't stop AI. Okay. It's going to evolve. The people in power that have the control, the president, the big corporation, they're going to build it. It's going to happen. Eventually, it has to evolve. Now, just like Nexus said earlier, the world is fundamentally shrinking in scope and outlook. AI accelerates the shrinkage. It does. Technology has absolutely shrunk our planet in no time. I mean, the last 20 years since internet was invented till now, man, our planet got really, really small. I mean, think about it right now. Alpha, you're over in South America. I'm here in Idaho, and we're talking like no problem. I remember as a kid, I was looking for parts for my motorcycle. I sat down with a phone book, and I sat there for hours calling hundreds of people. I've got this. Did you have? And I would call certain Boise and work my way out. And I ended up like in Washington, Oregon, Utah. But now it's literally if you press a button, and I'm talking to everybody in the world. So imagine what's going to be like the next 20 years. There you go.
And it
But you
would take
actually
a
wrote a
month
letter and
to
mailed
get
it,
a
right?
letter over there. Yeah. And then she would mail. I mean, it'd be like 3 months before we'd hear from each other.
But now it takes like 10 seconds if they don't break their stuff like Alpha does all the time.
Yeah.
Totally picking on the Alpha. Sorry, buddy. So obviously this is going to happen. This world is going to shrink. This AI is going to come about. So if you had a choice of how it would come about, what it would do, what would be the top, say, 3 things that you would want it to do in the next, say, 20 years? Nexus, I know you got an answer, man. Go for it, buddy.
I do, but I need you to ask the question again, but in a different way.
Okay.
Rephrase the question.
Rephrase the question. Okay. So AI will adapt. It will evolve to an AGI level. When it does, let's say 20 years from now, what are the top 3 things you hope it accomplishes or operates on at that point in time?
Oh, that's a great rephrasal. Thank you, sir. All right, so here's my top 3. Number 1, I expect to see AI mix, matched, and combined with the puzzle piece that is quantum computing to be able to solve very specific, and I mean hyper-specific problems. So specific that it would take humans lots and lots of paper math and argumentation and fighting it out in a room among really brilliant people in order to achieve the desired outcome. So when we combine those two together, we have a recipe for fixing lots of diseases, finding new drugs, finding new solutions to medical problems that will perhaps even prevent such endemic diseases in all cultures like Alzheimer's, right? That so many people will suffer from when they get older. We can kind of make big steps toward that. That's my number one. My number two, energy infrastructure. Obviously, AI is not good right now. It's draining lots of power. It's making all sorts of stuff expensive. In some cases, they're even draining groundwater reservoirs that are used by farmers in order to cool these servers, and that is unacceptable. That situation needs to be rectified lickety-frickin' split as soon as we possibly can. But if we do rectify that, and we make these models less cumbersome on the energy infrastructure, then obviously that just makes any other tasks we need them to do that much less costly, that much less energy expending, as it were. And the final thing that I would say goes right along with energy, but is kind of its own thing, and that is infrastructure overall. What's the one thing that people in the normative world still do? And that is commute. We commute to work. That is a travel time that is often covered by roads, highways, if we're traveling between cities or towns, and traffic lights. Now, the one thing I think almost everyone could agree that we need some AI help with, it's traffic lights. Because
The timing. Oh my God.
they are fixed at schedules that are uncomfortable and inefficient and make everyone's life not that great. And a lot of people violate traffic laws and cause traffic accidents because they're in a rush or they're in a hurry or they need to get from A to B a lot faster. And we could just prevent all of that if we have LLMs that are guiding and guarding, or an AGI that's guiding and guarding traffic flow, because it can reroute people. It can do things that would take the police and a bunch of traffic cones and stuff a lot more time to do. There's just a lot of applications that I can see for AGI and large language models in infrastructure and traffic management.
Absolute, man. There's some great ones. I love it. I love it. So who wants to go next?
I will definitely say that I can agree with a lot of like what Nexus is saying. I think on my part, I would probably say the energy would be what my top one that I'd wanted to solve. So having no issues with energy, like being able to provide power to everyone in the whole world, without any issues. Like, electricity is a bit of a problem. We're going to charge you extra because you use more. Yeah, it's like, just if we could harness more energy more efficiently without any issues, I think that would kind of be one of the main things that I'd want to see from AI, achieve. And then I think the second would probably be like the arbitration that I mentioned earlier, to be able to have a system for resolving conflict, no matter what the system is, but the system in place that is extremely efficient and functions in a way that we, as we are right now, can't even fathom it being, but it's just perfectly efficient and accomplishes its goal all the time. Maybe it won't, a bit like 99.9% of the time, I guess, because there's always going to be funny variables. And then I think the third would be, infrastructure, actually. So another one that I'm on like, just clicked also to me with that, with Nexus, is like infrastructure is kind of one of the other things that I'd also want to be perfected in essence. Like, there's a lot of wasted space. There's a lot of things that could be done a lot better. If that was just optimized, I want to see that. Just optimize things in a way that we don't have to stress about it. Like,
And there's
like
a lot of second order from all of that.
Just like, yeah, some optimization would be amazing. Please optimize usage of land and how people interact with things, because then productivity would be optimized. It's a
Well, I think if you're a farmer, right, you're already robotifying as much of that infrastructure as you could. You've powered the irrigation. You don't need humans to water the plants now. You've powered the crop harvesting. You've got robo harvesters harvesting the crops. Like, you can do all of that, but then comes the most important part of the farming, and that is the sowing, the actual implantation. That's the part where typically we still see humans being needed. But for how much longer, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot
I don't
of
know.
pictures getting close to being able to do that without any issues.
Yeah, because a computer can monitor the soil, the quality of it, where to move it, move this plot over there. Yeah, I mean, it could be so much better than it is. I don't think it's going to take long. Okay, well, Angel, what do you got for us?
There's a machine that literally lasers out all the weeds, which is what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the pesticide, or and the pests, excuse me, without pesticide, without chemical pesticide.
That's cool.
Exactly.
We need more
There's
of that.
so much that can happen. Oh, yeah. Well, bug squishers. Okay, well, Angel, what do you got?
Yeah, I can see a little robot, little drone flying around out there going, beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, zapping little bugs with just a little laser.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, it's going to be
that'd be
so
cool.
cool.
Pew, 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 pew.
Right. My biggest thing would be, my hope for AI would be that all knowledge is free. Screw student debt. But if I wanted to go get a master's degree in business, I could do that and not be limited by socioeconomic factors, or go into $100,000 in debt, by
Oh, that's
doing
way down
everything
the
I want
line.
to do.
I wish it was
What?
going to be here tomorrow, but that's
I
a
know.
little bit down the line. We have to get through the post-capitalist hellscape
I
before
know.
we can get to like Library of Alexandria on the internet levels of truth being
I know.
That would be
disseminated.
awesome.
But I'm looking at ways to finish my bachelor's degree. I've got 10 classes. I've bootstrapped these degrees. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to get it done, because there's other things that come up.
Now,
the
if you had
damn
AGI running
class
businesses, would you have to have a degree anymore?
If what?
If you had
If the
AGI running the
AGI
business, do you
Yeah,
need a
if-
business degree anymore?
Because the bot's doing it for you.
Right.
It's a self-actualization need.
Okay.
It is
And
a
that can be
higher
just-
level, highest level Maslow fulfillment.
Scholar
Um,
to become a scholar.
Is
Yeah.
for me, I'm motivated by that knowledge, by learning that. That gives me a sense of accomplishment. It
More
makes
than that,
me
it'll keep you
feel-
young.
Right. It keeps
There
my
you
brain young. And it keeps me busy. It keeps my brain busy because I'm an addict. The worst place for me is in my brain by myself.
Same.
So if it keeps my brain busy on something, it's a healthy thing. But that's
You
the-
must love
probably-
reading when you can get to it.
I do. I read myself to sleep every night with a real
Beautiful.
book.
Yes.
I
yes.
physically turn the pages. My class books, it kills me when it's a digital book, because I am a page turner and I will fall asleep faster reading digital because my eyes get tired because of the screen. But for AI, it's got to be opening knowledge to everybody. One of our key tenets here at Down Home Crypto, we don't hold information hostage for money. The world holds information hostage for money. That's why it costs huge amounts to get these degrees that so-called high prestige. You know what? I don't do it for prestige. I do it for me. So why should I have to pay for that prestige? That
That's a good
fake
point.
prestige and status. So it's abundance as recline. Okay. Yeah, but I think that would be my biggest one, and medicine. Because big pharma spends huge amounts of money for R&D. And these patents, they get like, I think it's 15 years where nobody can breach that patent. But then after, so that they can recoup that R&D money, and then they open it up so we can get generics. But by that time, they're all outdated, and they're coming out with the new ones.
Yeah.
The ones that really do work are still highly expensive.
And then the IP and the patents keep them locked
Right.
down for more years and years, making sure they can
Right.
charge the premium. And yeah,
I
Ugh.
totally agree about Akashic Records. Yeah. That universal knowledge base. That's amazing.
You know, it's funny.
But-
As an anthropologist, I have to debunk their existence all the time. We have them. It's called the oral history of civilization. You just, it's talking to people who know. That's the Akashic record. Your parents who remember a world you will never know. Like all of that is the civilizational Akashic record. The human oral tradition of knowledge is the Akashic record.
And cultures like Hawaiian culture, with their stories that pass down through the traditional hulas, things like that, those are the true Akashic records. There is generational knowledge, like what my parents remember, or my grandmother from the Great Depression, you know, things like that. However, that oral history gets contaminated through time. It gets changed. Have you ever played the telephone game? You know, you pass the message one to the other,
Tell
and
one
what
person.
the hell happens by the time that you get the end? There is true genetic memory, and that genetic memory doesn't change. It's still
I
there.
fight with people about whether or not stuff that happened to their ancestors actually matters all the time.
Well, it may or may not have bearing on current situation, but why do you think loud noises freak people out? A lot of people out, because we were taught way back in the dinosaur days, loud noises mean big things are going to come and eat us. Get the hell away.
Why do
Now
I always
loud
run towards
noises
loud
means
noises then?
Red Bull's hosting a party up the street.
Right, I
Right.
head towards
But
loud
what
noises. What's wrong with me?
What I'm saying is we learned those protection mechanisms
Evolution.
umpty million years ago. Well, not millions, people haven't been around that long, but we learned them back in prehistorics. And
Ancestors have been around millions of years. Humans have been around about 330,000.
fair
That
enough.
sounds good.
But you know, we learned them, and they have served a purpose. And so that genetic memory is still there. It's called instincts. And that goes back to those primal save yourself days. And, you know, same with our connection.
Mhm.
People didn't fare well when they were by themselves. They died rather quickly. So you get groups of people to protect yourself. So,
Okay,
Yeah,
and
that would
Smitty
be
says,
cool.
take a brief look at water birthing with dolphins and what happens to the child's IQ. Hawaiians have done this for centuries. Exactly, Smedley. And, yeah, we're way over on our time, guys, but I definitely want to throw one more question at each of you. And, Smedley, whoever else is watching, man, throw this in the chat because I'd love to know. So, if you had to pick one fear that AGI brings about in your mind, the number one fear that you're worried about this super intelligence coming out, what is it?
actually, Alpha hit on mine. That,
Well, you can go ahead and say it again.
right, that mediator, that justice system. Well, if AGI doesn't have emotion or doesn't understand human motivation, what is the difference between somebody who causes cold-blooded cold-blooded murder and somebody who was protecting their child and killed an intruder.
Ah, interesting.
What is
Okay.
the difference? You both killed somebody, so you're both gone. We're just going to
We get
delete you
into
and
the
whatever
legal,
happened.
moral, and ethical, philosophical weeds with that one.
Right.
Interesting.
But what I'm saying, that's a fear. Because if they treat, you did a crime, delete. You did a crime, delete.
Well, in Great Britain, the crime is stating your opinion if it's offensive to a large group of people.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
We're not allowed in
So
Great
what-
Britain, obviously, guys.
Right.
Yeah, I'm banned. I've been there once. Like, dude, you're out. I was 15 at the time. Yeah. So, and that's a good, valid point. Wild Angel's like, there are so many areas of humanity that are required. You know, would AGI have that capability? So, man, I love that one. So, next is, buddy, what's your number one fear if AGI rises up and rules the world? What's number one fear that really focus on?
Oh, I watch Terminator and James Cameron movies. I know where my heart's at on that. The reality is, I don't think an artificial generalized intelligence should be put in charge of a military-industrial complex. It comes right
That's
down
fair.
to that. And frankly, if you look at Chinese drone swarms, that's exactly what they intend to do, is to put the AGI in charge of the drone swarm so that they can or just attack that point and seize the ground and the drones will do it. But
Right. In a way, they kind of already are in some ways.
yeah, and I'm not looking forward to the robot wars. Let's just put it like that.
Ooh, so you're really seeing the whole Terminator thing going down. Okay. That's fair.
Well, all you have to do is ask yourself, are we trying to create an artificial general intelligence? Yeah, we are. Okay, can I put it in charge of Elon's Optimus bots? Probably. Can I strap a particle weapon to an Optimus bot? Yeah, I probably can. So in that context, I'm not looking forward to the Tyrell meets iRobot situation.
Yeah. Game over.
And
We're done.
for those of you who are very interested in the philosophy of this idea, I would strongly recommend everyone here and in the audience go back and watch Blade Runner again, as well as Blade Runner 2049.
I haven't seen the new one, but I do remember. the old
It goes into all the same themes and goes a bit deeper because the main character is one of the androids. So that
Oh.
opens up a lot more discussion as to like what is artificial life? What does it mean to be an artificial life form who is a servant? Like a lot of those thoughts and ideas come up and sort of Ryan Reynolds really kills it in that role. He's normally
I'm gonna check
known
that
as
one
being
out.
kind of a comedic guy, but
Right.
he was really good in that movie.
Huh, I'll have to check that one out. So, okay, Alpha, what's your number one fear if AGI takes over the world, buddy?
That instead of a meritocracy, it becomes a militaristic state. So my perception is that AGI would perceive that a meritocracy is the most efficient form of civilization, but there's the off chance that it decides a militaristic state is more efficient, which I highly doubt to do it because the meritocracy is a lot more efficient. But
Right?
it might just
What
decide,
costs, sir?
can't be trusted. Let's just make sure that they can't do anything that we don't want them to do. So yeah, that's kind of where I
Interesting.
put it. And that would kind of tie into a sort of, if you do kind of step out of line, it might not immediately punish you with, it might force antidepressants and other hormone suppressant types of medications to try to make you more docile. So
It's an escalatory conversation. Would you trust an AI to run a McDonald's? Yes or no? And then we can just drive
Probably.
this train up the pyramid. Yeah, I'm with you. I
Right.
probably would. I trust McDonald's.
so.
I trust an AI to run a McDonald's. Would you trust an AI to run a prison? Now we're starting to get into the complex stuff. I'm really uncomfortable about that myself.
Yeah, because that
And-
some people would look at a prisoners like, well, they got themselves there, they can just deal with whatever the hell happens. Like, they're on their own. They kind of put themselves in that place. So Then you have other people like, no, they're still humans. Like, man, that's a tough one there.
That's right. I
Yeah.
firmly am a human rights guy. I firmly believe that even if you're a convicted murderer, convicted pedophile, convicted felon, you're owed a certain amount of humanity if we're expecting you to serve out a sentence in custody in a federal prison of some sort.
Right.
So I do believe a certain amount of humanity should be afforded these types of folks. There's obviously a whole other debate as to like whether we should expand capital punishment and just start executing prisoners when it gets too expensive to house everybody. But that's a whole other conversation. And that right there, though, is one of the reasons why I would not trust an AI to run a prison. And that's where we come to
where
this.
my fear falls in.
Yeah,
Right.
because you can extrapolate from there. Because if we can't trust it to run a prison, which will have very explicit rules of who goes in, who gets out, when and where, and that sort of thing, right? We have those rules, so that could be programmed into a computer. Those rules could be programmed. So if it can be programmed, then it can be trusted to an AI. And that's where we get to the complexities. Could we trust an AI to run the energy grid? That's a hard no for me, guys. Because the AI is going to prefer certain groups over other groups, and it'll create its own rationale as to why those groups are more important and why they deserve a cheaper or better power situation than others. And I know Alpha Cruz that directly impacts, because in his country he deals with load shedding, and if we can't trust the humans to manage the grid, I don't know if we could trust the AI either. And from there, it only gets more dangerous, right? The final question is, do I trust the AI with the nuclear football? That's the final question, guys.
No.
Yeah,
it's a big hard no for me, gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll pass on total annihilation. So it's interesting. And yeah, there's several other conversations I can tell we're definitely going to have on this one. But yeah, I was really hoping people would put in the chat what theirs were. And, you know, mine is... I don't know. It's interesting. I think my biggest fear isn't the AI. I think my biggest fear is the humanity reacting to the AI. I think that's where it's really going to fall. I think the humanity is what's going to really push us to the brink. And whether you take all the movies, all the different things we've seen in sci-fi and things like that, it always turns out to be the AI is defending itself in some way, shape, or form against humanity to some degree. And kind of makes you wonder, at what point in time does the AI exceed the needs of humanity? Or do they find each other toxic? Or do they find a way to work together? I don't know. I think that's my biggest thing is, can we find a way to work together in unison versus A or B?
Yeah, I think there's a middle ground between we fight a war against the machines and destroy the machines and come out, 75% less populated, and we become the Borg. I think there's a middle ground in between these.
There's got to be a middle ground somewhere. Exactly. So everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation, and I always had fun, and I want to say thank you for joining us on Friday. So guys, I'm going to let you guys take us out tonight, but I want to tell everybody, thank you for tuning in. Love you. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next Friday. So Alpha, take it away, buddy.
Oh, damn it.
So that's what happens when you weren't paying attention. I got you.
But my brain has been thinking more AI than anything else. Okay, don't be that person that entrusts your whole existence to something that's not real, please. And they are tools at the end of the day, and we should use tools as they should be used. But we need to make connections with actual humans too. So do that. Go make connections. Go touch grass, or I don't know, go bother your friends. Go work on your family's nerves. Just go be a menace to people you know. Yeah, it's always a good thing. You got to remind them you're alive sometimes.
Good idea. Still breathing. Good, next.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, things are going to get complicated. Things are going to get weird. Things are going to get unfamiliar. And my best advice to you is to be adaptive, to remain curious in spite of all things that would drive you to be incurious. And that also means politically. Talk to people who disagree with you. Don't call them MAGA brains. Don't call them libtards. Don't call them anything other than friend. And you will discover that you have more in common with people than you do not.
Don't call
Very
them
well
temperature
said.
IQ.
I love that, Nexus.
Well
When
said.
we
Great advice.
When we look for things that we share in common, we are less likely to find the things that put us apart, that cause those conflicts. And so I love it, Nexus. I'm going to say yes. Look for those similarities. Don't look at the differences. See what you've got in common and work on it. But definitely go out, touch some grass. Tuck some grass. Wow. Touch some grass. Get some rest and recharge however you recharge. This week was kind of weird for me. And so this weekend is all going to be about reconnecting and getting back on an even keel. And I hope you can all do that too. Brady Bunch.
Well said. Huh?
The Brady Bunch. You know how they had the
Brady Bunch.
picture reels? Your turn.
Uh-huh. My turn. So, guys, just like they said, find the connection. Remember that everyone out there is a person. Everyone is fighting a battle. So wherever you go, try to spread some positivity. Make sure to throw some ducks out there because somebody is fighting a battle. Simple things like, hey, have a nice day. Thank you for holding the door. Whatever you can do, make sure to spread the positivity wherever you go, and it will come back. So I love you all. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next Friday. Bye, guys.
Night.
I've walked through the fire, chased every shadow